The discovery of the story opens in the Vega system, where the Galactic Council maintains its most advanced monitoring station. Commander Rax, a seasoned officer from the Centauri Federation, oversees the deep space sensors that scan for new civilizations. For 300 years, the Council has maintained peace among 47 species through careful diplomacy and measured technological advancement. The morning shift begins like any other, until sensor operator Kim detects an unusual energy signature approaching from the outer rim. The readings are unlike anything in their databases, massive, complex, and moving at speeds that should be impossible for any known vessel. The ship appears to be nearly 2 kilometers long, bristling with unknown technologies. Rax immediately contacts the council chambers on Prime Station. The emergency session brings together representatives from all major species: the wise Alterans with their crystal-like forms, the methodical Rigel engineers, and the diplomatic Proxima ambassadors. They have protocols for first contact, slow approach, peaceful signals, cultural exchange programs that take decades to complete. But this ship doesn't follow their careful rules. It moves with purpose, ignoring their standard greeting frequencies. Long-range scans reveal hull materials unknown to galactic science and energy readings that dwarf their largest battleships. The vessel's design is angular, aggressive, and completely alien to their aesthetic of smooth curves and organic shapes. Ambassador Vel, the Council's chief diplomat, orders the peaceful approach. They transmit mathematical sequences, star charts, and cultural greetings in 47 languages. The response is silence. Not the silence of ignorance, but the calculated quiet of something watching and evaluating as the mysterious ship enters the system's inner planets. Automated defense. Platforms activate. These stations have protected Council space for generations, equipped with plasma cannons and shield generators that could stop any known threat. The platforms move to intercept, broadcasting warnings in every known language. The alien vessel, now designated Contact 1 by the Council, doesn't slow down. Instead, something extraordinary happens. Weapon ports along its hull begin to glow with an energy signature that makes their sensors scream warnings. The ship doesn't fire immediately. It waits, as if giving them one final chance to stand down. Commander, Rax realizes they're not dealing with a primitive species stumbling into galactic space. This is something that has been watching, learning, and preparing. The ship's approach vector suggests detailed knowledge of their defensive positions. Someone has been studying them for a very long time. In the final moments of Part 1, as tension reaches its peak, the alien ship transmits its first message. It's not in any galactic language, but the universal mathematics are clear. The message is simple, direct, and chilling. We are human. We come from Terra. Your weapons are obsolete. Withdraw them now. The word human appears in their databases, an entry so old it's considered legend. A species that supposedly destroyed itself in nuclear fire centuries before the Council formed. But here they are, alive, advanced, and clearly. Not seeking permission to exist, ** first contact protocol shattered, the Council chambers erupt in chaos. Species that have maintained diplomatic calm for centuries now shout over each other in panic. The humans, supposedly extinct, are not only alive but possess technology that makes their greatest achievements look primitive. Admiral Koss of the Vegan Defense Fleet takes command of the situation. His ships are the Council's finest, sleek, vessels with energy shields and plasma weapons that have kept peace for 300 years. He orders a standard intimidation formation, 24 ships in perfect geometric patterns, a display of organized force that has convinced dozens of species to negotiate rather than fight. The human ship, now identified as the UES Retribution, responds by powering down to minimal energy. For a moment, the Council representatives feel relief. Perhaps these humans understand the futility of facing their combined fleet. Perhaps diplomacy will prevail, as it always has. They are catastrophically wrong. Captain Ross, commanding the Retribution, activates systems that don't appear on any galactic technology tree. The ship's hull begins to shift and reconfigure, revealing weapon systems that operate on principles the Council has never encountered. Kinetic accelerators that fire solid projectiles at relativistic speeds. Fusion missiles with yields that dwarf their plasma charges. Point defense lasers that can track and destroy dozens of targets simultaneously. But the real shock comes when the Asli humans demonstrate their understanding of galactic technology. They broadcast detailed schematics of Council weapons, showing exactly how their plasma systems work and why they're ineffective against human armor. They've been studying galactic civilization for generations, learning every weakness, every limitation. The vegan fleet opens fire first. 24 ships unleash their full arsenal in a coordinated strike that has never failed to overwhelm any opponent. The plasma charges streak across space in brilliant displays of destructive power. The human ship doesn't dodge. It doesn't need. 2. Point defense systems activate with precision that seems impossible. Hundreds of small turrets, tracking and destroying incoming projectiles with casual efficiency. The few plasma charges that reach the hull simply splash harmlessly against armor designed to withstand much worse than the Retribution fires back. A single kinetic round, fired from the ship's main gun, passes through the fleet's flagship like it's made of paper. The projectile continues through 3 more ships before finally expending its energy in empty space. 4 vessels, each representing the pinnacle of their respective species' engineering, are simply gone. The remaining 20 ships of the vegan fleet retreat in disorder. This isn't a battle, it's a demonstration. The humans could have destroyed every ship in the system, but they chose restraint. The message is clear. We could end you all, but we're choosing not to. Captain Ross opens a communication channel to the Council chambers. His image appears on screens throughout the galactic government, a middle-aged human with graying hair and eyes that have seen too much war. When he speaks, his words forever change the balance of power in the galaxy. I am Captain David Ross, of the United Earthship Retribution. For the past 3 centuries, humanity has watched your galactic council expand across the stars. We have studied your technologies, your cultures, your weaknesses. We remained hidden not from fear, but from hope that you might prove worthy of contact. The chamber falls silent. That hope has been disappointed. Your response to our peaceful arrival was immediate aggression. Your so-called advanced civilization shows the same fear and hostility that has plagued intelligent life since the beginning of time. We had hoped to find equals among the stars. Instead, we find children playing with dangerous toys. The Human Declaration. Captain Ross's words echo through every council chamber, every military command center, every civilian broadcast network across 47 worlds. The galaxy's oldest and most advanced civilizations sit in stunned silence. As this human, this representative of a supposedly extinct species, calmly explains how thoroughly they've been observed and judged. For 312 years, Ross continues, human observation posts have monitored your expansion. We watched you discover faster-than-light travel. We observed your first tentative contacts with other species. We hope to see wisdom grow alongside your technology. The captain's image shifts, replaced by holographic displays that make council technicians gasp in recognition. Detailed maps of every council world, complete military assessments, cultural analyses going back generations. The humans haven't just been watching. They've been conducting the most comprehensive intelligence operation in galactic history. We saw the Alteron purge of the Silicon Valley worlds. We witnessed the Rigel Empire's economic strangulation of 17 developing species. We recorded the Proxima Federation's peaceful annexation of every habitable world in their sector. Your Galactic Council isn't a union of equals. It's a protection racket run by apex predators. Ambassador Vel tries to respond, to offer explanations and justifications, but Ross cuts him off with a gesture. You believe your weapons make you strong. Your plasma cannons, your energy shields, your coordinated fleets, all based on technologies that humanity mastered and abandoned 4 centuries ago. While you were learning to split atoms, we were learning to split reality itself. The retribution begins broadcasting on all frequencies. Not military communications, but something far more dangerous, the truth. Human archives containing complete records of Council activities. War crimes covered up by diplomatic language. Entire civilizations reduced to client states through economic manipulation. The careful fiction of Council benevolence crumbles under the weight of documented evidence. But the real shock comes when Ross reveals the scope of human expansion. The UE's retribution is not alone. 43 human colonies exist throughout what you consider unexplored space. Each colony is defended by vessels that make the retribution look like a patrol boat. We have not been hiding from you. We have been surrounding you. Star charts appear showing human positions throughout the galaxy. The Council's proudly mapped territory suddenly looks like a small island in an ocean of human space. Worse, the positions are clearly strategic. Every major trade route, every military staging area, every critical resource world is within range of human forces. Admiral Koss, still reeling from the destruction of his flagship, attempts to rally the remaining Council forces. Emergency protocols activate across all member worlds. Reserve fleets mobilize, planetary defenses come online, and every available ship begins converging on the Vega system. The human response is swift and educational. Observation posts that have operated undetected for centuries suddenly begin broadcasting their positions. Human stealth technology, generations ahead of Council capabilities, reveals dozens of monitoring stations in every major system. Each post has been watching, recording, and reporting back to human command for decades. But Captain Ross isn't finished with his revelations. Your Council operates on the assumption that you are the apex of galactic civilization. You measure technological advancement by energy output, military strength by fleet tonnage, and diplomatic success by territorial expansion. These are the metrics of children who have found their parents' weapons. The captain's voice carries a weight that speaks of experience with real warfare, real consequences, real loss. Humanity learned a different lesson. We nearly destroyed ourselves in our youth, just as you assumed. But we survived, and we learned that true strength comes not from the ability to destroy, but from the wisdom to choose restraint. Every human world could sterilize your entire territory within hours. We choose not to, because we remember what it means to be the victim of overwhelming force. The implications sink in across 47 worlds. The Council isn't facing a primitive species with lucky technology. They're confronting a civilization that has deliberately chosen isolation until now, that possesses overwhelming military superiority, and that has been watching their every move for centuries. The galaxy's balance of power hasn't shifted. It has been completely inverted. Everything the Council thought they knew about their place in the universe is wrong. Asterisk. The choice the emergency session of the Galactic Council stretches into its 14th hour. Representatives from 47 species argue, plead, and threaten each other while human observation posts continue broadcasting evidence of Council crimes across the galaxy. Public opinion on every member world begins to shift as civilians see the true cost of their government's expansion. Captain Ross has withdrawn the retribution to the outer system, but his presence weighs on every decision. Long-range sensors, show human ships arriving at the edge of detection range, not approaching, simply taking positions. The message is clear. Humanity is prepared for any Council response. Ambassador Vel, his crystalline features showing stress fractures that betray. His emotional state attempts to negotiate. He offers technology sharing, territorial concessions, even full human representation in the Council. Each offer is met with polite dismissal from Captain Ross. "You misunderstand our position," Ross explains during one communication. "We are not petitioners seeking admission to your club. We are judges evaluating whether your civilization deserves to continue existing in its current form." The statement sends shockwaves through every Council chamber. The idea that humanity might simply decide to eliminate the galactic government has never been considered. The Council has always been the one making such decisions about younger species. Koss presents military options with increasing desperation. Combined fleet actions, coordinated strikes against human colonies, even the use of planet killing. Weapons that have been held in reserve for centuries. Each plan is systematically destroyed by human intelligence reports, showing exactly how thoroughly the Council's military capabilities have been studied and countered. Dr. Nara, the Council's chief scientist, makes a disturbing discovery while analyzing human technology samples. The materials used in human ship construction don't just surpass Council capabilities. They operate on scientific principles that suggest humanity has been developing in complete isolation for centuries. While the Council focused on incremental improvements to known technologies, humans have been pioneering entirely new branches of physics. Their armor isn't just stronger, she reports to the emergency session. It exists partially outside normal spacetime. Their weapons don't just hit harder. They manipulate fundamental forces we don't understand. We're not facing advanced technology. We're facing what our technology might become if we survive another 1,000 years of development. The revelation brings a new perspective to the crisis. Humanity isn't just militarily superior. They represent what the Council might evolve into, given enough time and wisdom. The question becomes whether the Council will be allowed that time. Captain Ross provides the answer during his next communication. The Galactic Council will be dissolved within 72 hours, he announces without ceremony. Member species will withdraw to their original territories and begin the process of granting independence to all client worlds. Military forces will be reduced to defensive levels appropriate for single-system governments. The demands are impossible to meet, and Ross knows it. The Council's power structure depends on maintaining control over dozens of species and hundreds of worlds. Dismantling the system would create chaos, economic collapse, and potentially open warfare between former allies. "You ask us to destroy our civilization," Vel responds. "We ask you to evolve beyond it," Ross corrects. A Council represents the worst impulses of intelligent life, the need to dominate, to expand, to control others through force. Humanity offers an alternative. The alternative is presented through a series of broadcasts from human colonies. Instead of the expected military installations, the transmissions show something unprecedented in galactic history: thriving worlds where multiple species live as equals. Human colonies include refugees from Council expansion, survivors of territorial wars, and entire populations that chose to abandon their homeworlds rather than submit to Council authority. "We offer membership in a different kind of galactic community," Ross explains. One based on voluntary association, mutual aid, and respect for the autonomy of all intelligent life. Species that choose this path will receive human protection and access to our technology. Those that prefer the old ways will be left alone in their original territories. The offer splits the Council. Younger member species, still chafing under the restrictions of Council membership, begin to see opportunity in the human proposal. Older, more established powers recognize the threat to their accumulated advantages. as the 72-hour deadline approaches. Secret communications begin flowing between council members. Some seek to negotiate separate deals with humanity. Others plot combined resistance. A few simply begin evacuating their most valuable assets to regions they hope will remain outside human influence. Captain Ross watches it all with the patience of someone who has seen civilizations make this choice before. In 12 hours, the galaxy will discover whether intelligence life can evolve beyond its predatory instincts, or whether humanity will need to impose evolution from the outside. Asterisk. The new galaxy, the 72-hour deadline passes in silence. Captain Ross doesn't immediately respond to the Council's failure to comply with human demands. Instead, humanity begins demonstrating the consequences of their choice through actions, rather than words. Trade routes that have operated for centuries suddenly find their cargo ships politely but firmly redirected by human vessels. No shots are fired, no violence occurs, but the message is unmistakable. The old economic order is over. Human ships begin escorting former client world vessels, protecting them from Council interdiction while they establish direct trade relationships. Council's response is swift and predictable. Fleet Admiral Koss orders military action against human shipping, believing that a show of force might still salvage the situation. The Battle of the Rigel Junction becomes an object lesson in the futility of conventional warfare against human technology. 12 Council battleships engage 2 human escorts, protecting a convoy of newly independent worlds. The battle lasts exactly 4 minutes and 17 seconds. When it ends, the Council ships are intact, but completely disabled, weapons offline, engines dead, life support functioning, but nothing else. The crews are unharmed, but thoroughly humiliated. Captain Ross broadcasts the engagement to every world in the galaxy. This is the extent of Council military power when faced with beings who understand warfare beyond the level of throwing rocks at each other. Your ships are not destroyed because humanity chooses restraint, not because you deserve mercy. The demonstration breaks the last vestiges of Council unity. Member species begin withdrawing from joint military operations, negotiating separate agreements with humanity, and in some cases simply abandoning their territorial claims to avoid further embarrassment. Ambassador Vel makes one final attempt at negotiation, offering complete Council capitulation in exchange for maintaining some form of the existing governance structure. His proposal reveals the depth of Council desperation. They're willing to accept human oversight rather than face complete dissolution. Ross's response is educational. You still don't understand. We're not interested in ruling you. Rule requires constant attention, endless management of other people's problems, and the gradual corruption that comes from having power over others. Humanity learned those lessons during our own imperial phase. The captain shares historical records from humanity's past, the rise and fall of Earth's great empires, the wars that nearly destroyed human civilization, and the long process of learning to organize society without permanent power structures. The human approach is simple. Individual worlds govern themselves. Species associations are voluntary and can be dissolved at any time. No entity has the right to impose its will on others through force or economic coercion. Those who violate these principles face isolation from the galactic community. Over the following months, the transformation is remarkable. Without Council oversight, dozens of species begin developing along their own paths. Some form voluntary federations based on common interests. Others choose complete isolation. A few attempt to recreate the old power structures and find themselves gently but firmly contained by human intervention. The former Council worlds adapt at different rates. The Altarians, with their long tradition of contemplative philosophy, embrace the human model quickly. The Rigelians struggle with losing their economic advantages, but eventually find prosperity in honest trade. The Proxima Federation splits into 7 independent systems, some thriving, others struggling with newfound freedom. Captain Ross and the Retribution remain in the Vega system for 6 months, serving as a visible reminder of human capabilities, while the new order establishes itself. During this time, he takes meetings with leaders from across the galaxy, patiently explaining the principles of voluntary association and mutual aid. The most important meeting is with Dr. Nara, the former council scientist who has been studying human technology. She represents a group of researchers from multiple species who want to understand how humanity developed such advanced capabilities while maintaining ethical constraints. The answer is simple, Ross explains during their conversation. We never forgot that technology is a tool, not a goal. Every advance was evaluated, not just for what it could do, but for what it should do. We developed weapons that could destroy planets, and chose not to build them. We created surveillance systems that could monitor every individual, then destroyed the blueprints. The lesson resonates across the galaxy. As species begin developing without council restrictions, many start making similar choices, pursuing technologies that enhance life rather than control it, developing weapons for defense rather than conquest, building economies based on cooperation rather than exploitation. The story concludes 1 year after first contact, with Captain Ross preparing to return to human space. The galaxy has been transformed, not conquered, not ruled, but educated. The Galactic Council is gone, replaced by a loose network of voluntary associations and mutual aid agreements. Trade flows freely. Conflicts are resolved through arbitration rather than warfare, and dozens of new species have made peaceful contact without fear of assimilation. In his final broadcast to the galaxy, Ross delivers humanity's parting message. You have been given the most precious gift in the universe, the chance to choose your own path without coercion. Some of you will make mistakes. Some will fall back into old patterns. But for the first time in galactic history, you have the opportunity to evolve beyond predation and toward true civilization. Use it wisely. The Retribution disappears into the deep void between stars, leaving behind a galaxy forever changed by humanity's brief appearance. The title First Contact proves ironic. It was actually Last Contact, as humanity returns to its chosen isolation, watching from the shadows to ensure the new order survives. But across 47 worlds, the message remains: intelligence life can evolve beyond its worst impulses if it has the wisdom to choose restraint over dominance, cooperation over conquest, and freedom over control. The galaxy's first contact with humanity becomes its first lesson in what advanced civilization actually means. Asterisk.